In an earlier segment, I suggested that lawyers may not want to retire, but there is one event that will cause lawyers to think about whether they should retire, or if not, how they may want to continue practice or how they may want to change the way they're practicing. That event is the end of a lease. If you are practicing law now alone or in a firm, and within the next 2 years the rent agreement you have with the landlord will terminate, I guarantee you the thought of how you're going to practice beyond that time frame will come into your mind. I can't tell you how many lawyers have consulted with me about what to do in their practice beyond that period, whether they should renew the lease, what the terms of the renewal should be, whether they should change the way they practice law, that is, join with a firm, separate from the firm, go solo, what they should do. This is a time frame when all those thoughts come to the fore. So let me suggest some steps that you might want to take in thinking about this. Number one is analyze the economics of your firm. Understand where you get your revenue, what your expenses are, what expenses you need to maintain in order to practice the way you are practicing and the way you might want to practice. Understand the economics of your practice if you're in a firm. In other words, you take a look at what I would call the macro perspective, and then look at the micro perspective. Your practice, what is your book of business? What expenses you need to keep you going to serve the clientele that you now have and want to have in the future. Third step, review your feelings. I know this is a little touchy-feely. Review your feelings about the people in the firm. Do you like them? Do you trust them? Do you respect them? Do you want to stay in a working environment with them? I worked for one rather large law firm not too long ago, and there were some serious issues. There were parts of the firm that were breaking up. And I asked the managing partner, who happened to be somebody I knew for quite some time, so I was very comfortable asking this question. I said to him, Bob, look, I know that every lawyer in this firm is high-powered. You can, each of you, go elsewhere and earn more money than you're earning within the context of your current firm. But why do you stay together? His response was revealing to me. He said, look, I like the people here. I like coming to work here. It doesn't matter if I make a few dollars more or if I make a few dollars less. I have enough money from my working with this firm that I can pay my bills, I can put some money away, I can take care of my family, I can do anything and everything I want to do. And besides that, I get some time off. You know, it's sort of a balance of life kind of approach. That makes sense, but it makes sense in his context. And I'm not saying that he was right or that he was wrong. What I am suggesting to you is that you have to evaluate the people that you're with, because you're going to spend anywhere from 8 to 16 hours a day, anywhere from 5 to 6, sometimes 7 days a week with these people. And you need to like the environment in which you're working. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. So once you go through this analysis of the economics of the firm, of the practice, once you look at the people that you're working with, next, understand your own entrepreneurial inclinations. If you're thinking about going solo, if you're thinking about becoming the managing partner of a small firm, if you're thinking about any of those management positions that you will have to take on in the smaller firm environment, think about whether you're inclined to be entrepreneurial. You're going to have to act like an entrepreneur. That means that there's certain risks involved. You have to understand what those risks are. You have to be willing to take those risks. You have to be able to live with those risks. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to sleep well at night, understanding that those risks are there and still go on with life. So all of this comes to the fore, in my experience, when somebody finally wakes up one day and realizes that the lease is about to expire. That is the trigger. Take a look at your own lease. Take a look at what you expect to happen beyond the lease term. Interestingly enough, I just went through this in a different context with my own daughter. She runs her own business, and her lease is about to expire. And all of a sudden, I get frantic calls. I see her running around like a bunny, trying to look at what the real estate environment is and so forth. And she's going through an entire reevaluation of what her business should be. That is what I have experienced with lawyers. And so take a look at where your lease term expires. Take a look at what you've accomplished and what you yet want to accomplish. Evaluate the things I've mentioned here, and then create plan A, create plan B, create plan C. Make sure that you move forward well before the end of your lease term. If plan A doesn't work, go to plan B. If plan B doesn't work, go to plan C. But make sure that you give this sufficient forethought to cover your bases. And oh, by the way, if you decide to make a move, do yourself a favor and take a look at chapter 36 in my book, The Attorney and Law Firm Guide to the Business of Law. It has been called by one reviewer the Bible of running a law practice. But I focus your attention on chapter 36, where I have a detailed list of step by step that you should consider in making your move to the next office, or even to close your current office if you decide to change the way you want to practice law. Thanks for joining us today.